create a new file. To create a new file, we can use the mode being X, and X indicates, okay, will create a file, and it will return an error if the file exists. So let me just show you what happens. So in this case, let me go ahead and do an X, but we already know that there is a file by name hello.txt. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to comment this line quickly just to show you, and go ahead and execute this program. And as you can see, file exists error. So there is an exception being thrown which says, okay, hey, the file that you are trying to create, there is already a file by this name, and that is the reason you are seeing this exception file exit error. And again, if you want to handle this exception, we can make use of our try and except block. So let me just go ahead and quickly remind that one more time. Hey, I want to try this particular code within my try block. And if there is any error, you can just simply go ahead and print some message. Some exception occurred or anything. Now, instead of getting this particular message where the type of the exception is file exists error, again, instead of doing a catch-all means all the type of exception, we can just simply make use of this exception if we are interested into. So let's go ahead and do very specific. So in the except, we can just simply say, okay, hey, now let's go ahead and try executing this one. And this time the exception occurred, but we were able to safely handle it with the help of our try and except block. This part is okay. So let me go ahead and remove some of this content that we're not interested. So let's go ahead and open, but this time we'll go ahead and create a new file, and let's call this file as myfile.txt, and we are creating a new file. So the mode will be X. So in this case, we are just saying, okay, hey, simply go ahead and open a new file, and the file name is myfile.txt. And once the file is created, we can go ahead and add some of the content to this file, because if we don't add, that means we are just creating an empty file. So let's go ahead and try doing that. So I will go ahead and execute this program. And once we execute, you can see there was new file was shown here, myfile.txt. If I go in this file, this is an empty file. If I try to execute this program, what happens? Any guesses, guys? Yes, you're right. So if we go ahead and execute this program at this stage, we will get an error because there is already a file by this name. And if we want to add a content to this file, we can either use mode being A or W. So now let's go ahead and do a here maybe. Or if you want to go ahead and create a new file, we can use the X, and let's go ahead and create a new file. We are calling it myfile1, and now we can say myfile.write, and you can add any content, line 1 in myfile1.txt. Now once that is done, now just re-execute this program, and one more file got created, myfile1.txt. If I go to this file, we should this text here. So that's how we can go ahead and create a new file, and we can go ahead and write some content or some data into those files. Again, if we need to add some more content to this file, we can change the mode from X to A, or if you want to overwrite everything, we can go ahead and probably make use of the W as the mode. It's up to you. Now, there is one thing that we have been doing. So just like when we open a file, we have another method that we can call on our object is called close method. And again, it's a very good practice whenever you're working with a file. It makes perfect sense. Once we are done, it's to go ahead and close that particular file. So if you want to go ahead and close that file, so let me go ahead and change this into the append mode this time. And we can say this is line number 2. Once that is done, and now I want to go ahead and close. So once we call the close method on that object, that means the file is closed. So after closing the file, if you are trying to do any write operation, we will get an error. So to see that, let's go ahead and try doing a write. And we'll try to print some message. Now go ahead and execute this one. And as you can see, the line number 4, value error IO operation on closed file, because on the line number 3, we had to close that file. And after closing the file, we cannot go ahead and do any operations on the file. So that's also a good idea to use the file.close just to make sure that once you're done, you have closed your file successfully, and by accident, you are not doing any other operation inside your file. So let's go ahead and remove this f.write. Now we know we just went ahead, and if we come back to myfile1.txt, here is your content. So again, we can go ahead and make use of this f.clause.